It's just the costume design, man. Like I'm really having a hard time. It just looks very cosplayish. It looks like I went to Halloween, Spirit Halloween, and everybody else's costumes. I'm just like, it doesn't look good. Like you can be comic accurate and have the bright colors and still look good.
Can Superman 2025 touch 900 million? Now, I didn't know this until recently. I looked it up before we shot this video. Allegedly, according to Ohio, the state of Ohio, where it was shot. This film was shot in Cleveland. This film had a budget of $363 million, which is a lot.
$1 million.
In order for you to break even on a film like that, I think you have to get upwards of 700 mil, maybe more. It's a big budget, because you have to factor in marketing, which is never included in the budget for some reason. Some films cost, 100 million to market. Some films cost 200 million to market. A movie like this, you can bet your bottom dollar that they're going to be marketing the heck out of it, even though they didn't take out one of those $8 million 30-second spots at the Super Bowl. The question is, do you think that this film can touch 900 million? Because in my mind, if it made 700 million, I think it would still be a success, even if it didn't quite break even financially. They're going to put all their eggs in this basket because this film has to not only be good, it has to be amazing. It's the first new DCU film. I don't think that it necessarily has to make 900 or a billion to be a success, to be deemed a success. But do you think this film will touch 900 million?
I don't care. I'm not into Superman. I could care less.
What is that? What is that?
I don't think it'll do 900 million. It comes out the week before Fantastic Four, doesn't it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. I think the lead-ins will be important for it. The marketing is going to make or break this because there's a lot of superhero fatigue going on. Superman is something that while it's a known quantity, it's also a known quantity. Whereas Thunderbolts is, I don't know what this is about. I know it's Marvel, so maybe there's a little more interest. I've seen Superman 10 different times on the TV and on the movie screen. How is this any different? So I think DC's going to have to work a little bit harder than Marvel is for Thunderbolts.
I think that the biggest thing they have going against them right now is their bad reputation. The last 3 DC films were flops, big time. The Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman 2. These films were all really, really like poor reception, poor box office returns. And even though they're not connected to this new Superman film, general audiences are going to say, well, that's DC. I don't like DC films. Let's go see the Thunderbolts or let's go see Fantastic Four. But with all that being said, Superman is probably the most well-known superhero of all time. My grandma knows who Superman is. Does my grandma know who the Fantastic Four is? Maybe. They're pretty popular too, but not quite as popular as Superman. It's probably, as far as popularity goes, I would say it's Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, the top 3. That's the trinity of most popular superhero movie characters. It's definitely a conundrum, I will say that, because on one hand, I'm like, okay, well, there's no way a Superman movie is not going to blow the box office wide open. Then the other hand, I think about Martha. Why did you say that name, Martha? I think about stuff like that when.
What does that mean? Why did you say that name? Save Martha! What?
Well, I currently didn't have an opinion on this before this, so I'm going to justify one based on what I've heard so far. No, I really didn't even know it was coming out, honestly. So, that just shows you how bad their marketing currently is. I feel like their marketing is either going to make or break this. I feel like for people that care, right? Because there really is a sense of give us stuff from the left and right side of the fence versus DC versus Marvel. People that are DC fans are gonna be like, finally, are we hopefully going to not get a trash can movie, right? The Marvel fans are like, well, we need something to watch before Thunderbolts and everything comes off. So are we going to go watch another superhero movie, or are we going to have the superhero fatigue? So it really needs to market itself as something different and something that's actually well done, or else it's just going to flop.
Don't forget, this trailer in the first 24 hours that it dropped on YouTube it put itself in the top 10 most watched trailers in a 24-hour period of all time. It was a big deal when the trailer dropped on YouTube. I think
if it's such a big deal, that means it's only hitting a niche audience,
So it didn't even know.
Yeah.
And we talked to your grandma about it on the phone the other day. She knew.
Everybody's showing off their cool toys, and my office is lame. Dude, I drew and painted this myself. I've got to just show them off a little bit. I am the opposite. I freaking love Superman, and I think that if this movie does well, it's just going to be for people who love the character because it's so well known. I feel like the marketing's been pretty bad. We've only gotten one teaser trailer, and the movie comes out in 4 or 5 months. It's not even an official trailer; it's just a teaser. I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting on board with this one. You know, with everybody else has their own niche with Fortnite and Marvel and Thunderbolts. I grew up on the old Christopher Reeve movies. My family was like super poor, and that was the only VHS we had. So I grew up watching those, and Star Wars, yes, on repeat. And so it's like from the age of like 4 years old, I was just madly in love with this character, which I know a lot of people are. They say he's bland and generic. I get it. I don't know.
They're wrong, Chris. They're all wrong.
Thank you. And I think that's so cool that we're all allowed to have our different opinions. I hate getting on TikTok sometimes now because heaven forbid if you disagree or dislike something, you're not a fan. And it's like, that bothers me so much. Like, I love that we're all allowed to disagree. That's the beauty of comics, is that there's Marvel and there's DC and there's all these different things and styles for everybody to kind of pick their favorite. So I love this vibe here that y'all have. And I appreciate you guys just allowing each person to have their own opinion and their own preferences. But about the Superman movie, like, dude, I'm not on board. I'm really not. I hope it does well, like everybody's saying, because I feel like anytime a comic book movie has a win, I feel like as a fan, we all get wins, even if we don't like it, because that means the genre's kind of not dying out. And maybe if there's a big movie that's successful, then, okay, this was a success. It can go 50-50, like, let's make more, but let's make them in a good way. So I really hope this new James Gunn universe does well. But honestly, I'm not feeling it. I'm kind of worried. And if it does hit the 900 mil or hit the Billy Club, then part of me is like, great, Superman deserves to have a box office hit. But the marketing, like I've seen one teaser trailer, that's it. And I'm like, it comes out in 4 months. We haven't even had a full trailer,
Yeah.
Jared, have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I watched it one time.
I feel like for people like you, everyone's crying out in the streets for a lighter Superman, Superman. And that is what Superman is in the comics. I feel like folks like you will love this film because it's going to be very lighthearted. You got Crypto, the super dog, in there. Look, I had my doubts about this film. I still don't love the suit, not the red trunks. I like the red trunks returning, but I don't like how his suit kind of fits like my shirt that I have on right now. Like, it's literally just this, it looks a little too baggy in my mind. I have some complaints, some minor complaints, but I'm rooting for this movie. Would I say I'm excited about it? Yes, I would. I'm very excited to see what James Gunn does with the DCU. And here's why. James Gunn gave us the Guardians trilogy. The Guardians trilogy is phenomenal. James Gunn gave us the Suicide Squad. I thought that movie was phenomenal. I know you didn't like it, Jared. And James Gunn also gave us Peacemaker. That was a character that before the show came out, I can remember thinking, why are we doing a show about John Cena's Peacemaker? This is going to be so dumb and pointless. But I ended up loving that show. And even Creature Commandos that came out recently. I had some folks on this show a few weeks back and we reviewed Creature Commandos. It was so good to be a cartoon, a silly cartoon about a silly group of basically another, Suicide Squad is what it was. But it was so well done to be what it was. And it was another project from James Gunn. I can't hate too much. I really feel like I should just wait till the movie comes out. I think I'm going to like it.
I do have an opinion on this. And my opinion is I really want I really don't care if it's the Superman movie, but I want a DC movie to do really well because I like it when two franchises are competing for production quality, because then it brings out the best. And the second thing I got to say for the comments on TikTok, I always tell this to everybody when they're messaging, and when people say negative stuff that you don't agree with, I just give them a donut emoji because obviously they're hungry for the comment.
There you go, man. That's awesome.
So I do it on all my channels I start because everyone's gonna have an opinion, right? And if you're not getting any comments, then you're not putting your opinions out there correctly. There's always gonna be a disagree, and that's the whole point of comment baiting. But my real stance on this is I want Sony and DC, I want them to put out a good movie just so it prevents the damn bars, right? In the Captain America movie.
CGI or green screen, it just kind of took me out of it. Like the part where they're at the end and where Thaddeus Ross is in the cell and it's got the bars, like that was like the worst green screen bars I've ever seen. It was like so obvious. I'm like, dude, just put real bars in front of it.
They do that QA QC. They care a little more about the brush over. The quality gets better because when you have two titans competing, you're always going to get a better overall film.
Right.
How good was WWE when they were competing with WCW in the late 90s? They were phenomenal. They raised their quality level. Well, like you said, I mean, if DC starts putting out banger after banger, you can bet your bottom dollar that the MCU is gonna elevate their quality level as well. They're gonna have to either elevate your quality or get left behind in the smoke.
I agree that, I'm trying to trust James Gunn. He has done. I wasn't a huge fan of the Suicide Squad. Everything else he's done is really good. So I'm trying to I want this movie to succeed. I really do. I want to look back in 20 years and be like, this was 2008 Iron Man, like that set the new universe off. Because there's so many wonderful DC characters out there that deserve really good screen time and their stories to be told. And so I'm hoping that even if I hate every single costume from I can't, I'm struggling, bro. And I'm trying to like not pay attention to like anything, but I'm hoping that it does succeed. And I think that we're allowed to have opinions of just because we don't like something doesn't mean we hate the character. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we're allowed to, there's parts of all of us have some of our favorite movies or comics, and there's probably a few things about it that we could change or if we wanted to, but I don't know. I want it to succeed. I'm hoping James Gunn pulls through. I just can't get the colors. I don't mind, like you said, the red trunks. It's just the costume design, man. Like I'm really having a hard time. It just looks very cosplayish. It looks like I went to Spirit Halloween, and everybody else's costumes. I'm just like, it doesn't look good. Like you can be comic accurate and have the bright colors and still look good. I don't know. I'm hoping. I've heard that maybe he changes suits throughout the movie, so we'll see. I'm a little biased, but I want every comic book movie to do good.
People are so tribalistic in the comments. I guess it's really easy to see some unknown Instagram page or TikTok page and just really let them have it, because I've been getting a lot of that lately. And I like the donut thing that you were talking about, Frank, and that's funny.
It's wintertime, bro. It's when all the trolls are chilling inside, dude, behind their phones. And I started up a new page, like kind of off top. I started up an anime page that's doing pretty decently well, and there's a lot of opinions there as well, Yeah. So I just give them a donut, bro, and they respond back. They're like, "What is this?" And I was like, "You're hungry for a response. I appreciate your feedback."
That's fantastic.
Oftentimes I get a super negative, just ugly comment that there's only two ways sometimes to respond to a comment, and it's either doing nothing at all or really giving them a piece of your mind. So I like the donut. A lot hinges on this, and no pressure, James Gunn, but you got to really, really knock it out of the park here. And I want to go see this in theaters with Jared. I think that would be really fun.
You're going to have to pay for that ticket.
I know that we talked about this a bit in the past, but you find most of the DC characters completely unrelatable, right?
Yeah, I think they're hard to, Peter Parker, Bruce Banner, Logan, they have problems. They're like real people. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, they're just these gods. One guy, if you give him a green crystal, then he's hurt. Oh, the Batman, he can outsmart everybody and do everything and has a gadget to overcome anything.
Would you like a donut with that haterade, Jared?
No. That's why I relate better with Marvel. I see myself in Peter Parker. I got bullied, or I'm trying to get the girl and I was off saving the world and I missed my date, that kind of thing. Or, Bruce struggled. And I used to be a teacher, so I taught all my students personality qualities through the Marvel superheroes. Responsibility through Spider-Man. We talked about dealing with anger with Hulk. We talked about teamwork with the X-Men. We had family with Fantastic Four. We talked about patriotism with Captain America. Like I was able to teach so much with those guys. With Batman, I'm like, either you got it or you don't. Either you're a genius or you're an idiot. Sorry, Batman is not for my class. You're all dumb. I was a kindergarten teacher too, so they were all dumb. They weren't going to be able to do anything.
Wow, Jared, that's not politically correct.
That's amazing.
They're 5. They didn't even know their names.
That's awesome.
Oh, gee. And on that note, thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode of Comic Book Cinema. Make sure you follow us on the socials and follow these guys on the socials. And until next time, have a good one.